Let me start off this morning by saying a big thank you to anyone out there who's already grabbed a copy of AI Rising. We sold 100 on the first day, which is pretty good considering it's only available on Kindle so far, but it will be coming out in both a hardback and a regular paperback, as well as Audible. But those are going to take longer. The Audible might even be a couple of weeks from now, so or audio or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, thank you so much and keep it up. Markets are up slightly. Tesla is already recovering substantially from market lows. The call, now here's this is going to be completely different than you're hearing from anybody else because I'm different. I'm weird. The call was a solid announcement of the roadmap for the next 2 years. More cars, going to 3 million. Cyber cabs will be a big piece of that. Maybe 800,000 per year will be cyber cabs. Robotaxi network explained in detail. Autonomous semis, which confirms what we've been asking on this channel for some time now is, will we go directly to autonomous? Apparently. Energy storage, we know the direction there. What we don't know is when they're going to announce the next factory. And of course, Optimus. 4 of those categories are 100 billion per year or more in potential sales with 15 to 30% margins. And those are the small divisions. In fact, 2 years from now, Tesla will be a completely different company with vehicles, just one item out of 5 that are reporting massive revenues and earnings, with, of course, Robotaxi and Optimus way at the top. Key to those earnings the earnings yesterday, we could not have known these in advance. There were several one-time items. If you reverse out those one-time items, the number ended up much closer to the bottom of my estimate of 65 to 75 cents. Of course, I did eventually zero in on 75 cents. I have to admit, CHOCK persuaded me. But anyway, so the miss between 65 and 50 was mostly one-time items. The other big one, and I don't know why people aren't talking about it very much, is the revenue per gigawatt hours for the megapacks was substantially lower than it has been in the past. So the unit dollar volume, kind of like, 44,000 for cars is, the average amount that they're charging. Well, that number came down a lot. So I'm going to be interested to dig into that a little deeper. The overall result of the call does one thing. It moves my timing about 1 quarter, maybe 1.5 quarter out compared to what it was in the past. So here's a realignment of the price targets that I'm going to refine this later. But for now, let's look at, I think we will hit 500, all-time high, 500, 510. Either before the shareholder meeting in November or right after the shareholder meeting in November, but within about 30 days of now. And then I think we'll go to 600, not 1,000, by February 1. And that's assuming that we don't get the Optimus reveal in January. If we get the Optimus reveal in January, then we'll be at 750. And that could be after February 1. I mean, before or after February 1, whenever the Optimus reveal comes out, assuming that it's an amazing reveal, then we'll be at 750. And then finally, we'll hit 1,000 by the end of 2026. And my 2,000 number, which was for the end of 2026, will now be sometime in 2027, maybe towards the middle or the end. Now, here's a list of, this will be the most important part of everything I'm going to talk about today. These are the things that almost everybody else missed. Yeah, you might have one person. Some of them, I don't think you had anybody. All right. Number 1, the linchpin for Tesla right now is unsupervised. Later, it's going to be Optimus. But right now, the linchpin is unsupervised. It will drive, Elon said it. I've been saying it for I don't know how long, maybe over a year. It will drive car sales back to where we won't be able to make enough. Elon was very clear on that. This is a very important part of what's going on. He's believed that he would have unsupervised a year ago, 6 months ago, and now he knows He's going to have it. It's just a matter of which day they decide it's absolutely safe enough. So that's Elon talking. They won't be able to make enough cars once we get unsupervised. That's exactly, it's very, very important for the next year in terms of the Tesla sales. After that, it's going to be Optimus. Tesla is not seen by most, I'm sorry, Tesla is now, that's a typo. Tesla is now seen by most analysts as an AI company, and they recognize that the management is now they've moved on to the AI future. That's where we are right now. And the analysts, it's one thing to have Elon say it. This is the new mission. This is the new direction. It's another thing to have to start to see some of the pieces fall into place. What we have now is this quarter, that meeting, we now have that transition. Only Tesla has the full stack from mining to inference. Nobody else is talking about. That's part of what the book is about. That is actually what encouraged me. It was the thing that impacted my brain that got the book started. And half of the book is about the stack. Okay? Half of the book, because what matters is who controls the stack. And Tesla is the only company that controls the entire stack. Now, do they control every single element and every single piece of the stack? No, but they control from mining and refining all the way through to inference and applications. They control their own stack. Now, you tie that in with Tesla it's not even close to, they have the 100% lead in real world data, training, and inference. Not even close. So you put those two things together. This is why Optimus and Robotaxi are going to be like runaway killer sellers, where nobody else is going to. Yeah, there's going to be lots of people that are going to make a living off of robots and make a living off of some kind of self-driving vehicles or self-driving, autonomous vehicles of all kinds. But Tesla is going to be so far ahead in the key areas, it won't even be close. Elon said this out loud. Listen to this now. Optimus 3 will be hard to distinguish from a human. And I think this is what keeps people from really jumping on the bandwagon as they watch these robots and they're kind of slow and clunky and make a lot of noise and they don't talk to you kind of the same way you expect. No, he says it'll be hard to distinguish from a human will be the Optimus 3. So it will be interesting to see if he hits that. If he does, then maybe I'm wrong about 750. It might be higher. Now, here's a big one. Elon, I've read this in different places. Elon is working tirelessly and focused like a laser on Optimus. Now, that means two things. Number one, he isn't much needed for the robotaxi at this point. And number two, the robot is going to be amazing because it's Elon. This is another big one. And Elon emphasized this at the end. The near future of war is going to be all bots and drones. Elon started talking about this. I started talking about this over 2 years ago. The future of war is going to be all bots and drones. There have been recent reports of individuals saying there's not going to be any humans on the battlefield now. I mean, we're basically to this point already. There's not going to be humans on the battlefield. There'll be a few pilots, but even the pilots, they'll be flying one plane and they'll be having 4 drones along with them. We've seen this movie. We've been watching this movie since we were kids. And the future is now here. Elon said he doesn't want to make a bot army, that he doesn't have a major vote regarding how it's deployed. Elon, that's good. I appreciate it. I think you're right. There's a bot army in terms of every aspect of autonomy and every aspect of AI. And yes, I understand why you don't want to be. I get it. I'm for you. I'm voting for you. Okay. But to be honest, you need to be more worried about the government than the board or the shareholders. It's going to be, if somebody's going to want those robots, it's going to be the government. And I'm not sure they're going to give you a vote in whether or not Tesla makes robots for the army. Okay, now beware that the pundits also missed on the negative side. Okay, this is it's kind of you might say it's a minor issue, but it won't be minor when this comes out in the fourth quarter earnings in January. free cash flow. Everybody's, oh, hey, wow, look at that, $4 billion in free cash flow. No, but this is going to be a one-time thing. You're not going to see this again in January. It might be zero, or it might be very, very, very low. It might even go negative. You see, you have to replenish that inventory. You can't keep the inventory at 10 days or 11 days. So you're going to replenish that inventory, and that is going to kill the free cash flow in the fourth quarter. So don't look for 4 billion in the fourth quarter, and don't sell your stock because it ends up being zero or maybe even negative. Okay, so there was 15 updates by analysts. You ready? 15 updates. That's how many have been tracked so far. 8 of those were reiterations and mostly positive statements, along with their reiterations of their price targets. 5 were increases. 5 were increases in their price targets. What does that tell you? 2 lowered their price targets. And this aligned around the overall consensus price target was around 400. This implies, a downturn from 425 where we are this morning, but shares, but this is as good an indicator as any that you're going to get that the call was good, that the earnings report and the call, people were good with it. So, the stock was way down early this morning, down almost to 410, I think. But now it's back up to 425 last time I checked, and we'll take a look in a minute. The broader sentiment overall, resilient demand, up 12% year over year on revenue, but everybody's watchful for quarter 4 impacts from the federal shutdown and the EV credit expiry. That's what the pundits are saying, but I could care less at this point. I mean, I want 500,000 cars, believe me. I hope we get to 500,000 cars. We'll be paying attention to how the Model Y long and how China does and what's happening with the new standards and all that, but it's no longer going to be key. Top 10 things that pundits, analysts, and the Tesla community are saying about the quarter 3 2025 earnings. Number 1, the EPS miss overshadowed record revenue and deliveries. Analysts note that non-GAAP EPS of 50 cents missed estimates by 9%, with margins squeezed to 5.8% from tariffs, pricing, and credits, which I mentioned. This is the key. It was all about missing on these one-time items. They see this as a quality rebound amid pull-forward demand, and that's good. All right, number 2, energy storage steals the show with record margins. I was probably the first one to do the math yesterday afternoon, 31.4%, generating why do I say that? Well, because that's where I went. I went right to the energy while I was on the show on the live stream with Brian, and I worked that out right away. I'm like 31.5. Anyway, outpacing autos, of course, etc. Explosive FSD adoption and safety stats. X users buzzed over 1.3 billion cumulative FSD miles in quarter 3. That is up 30% quarter over quarter. I should have put that in my everybody's missing it list. 14.1 daily average, et cetera, et cetera. So this means that people are either subscribing or they're buying in bigger numbers, and we want to see that number keep going up. That is a key indicator that we should be watching now. Number 4, robust cash generation, free cash flow. We talked about that. Number 5, robotaxi expansion hype meets regulatory caution. Pundits lauded plans for driverless Austin by year end in 8 to 10 cities in 2025, with 1.25 million autonomous miles logged. X community, though, emphasized safety first scaling. Analysts warned of hurdles like California paid service bans, potentially delaying monetization. I don't think there's going to be, I'm an optimist, but I just don't believe that there's going to be a lot of regulatory hurdles. I think once this thing, if it passes Elon's muster and it's doing millions of miles without incidences, I don't think there's going to be a lot of regulatory kickback. Number 6, Optimus will be the biggest product ever released with realistic timelines offered by Elon. So that's what I said last night. It felt realistic. So the game plan now feels real. It feels like, yeah, this is just going to happen. Now we just have to watch it unveil. Elon says you'll have to poke the optimist to see whether it's real or not. Analysts see it as $1 trillion bet, but flag the hand dexterity. I don't think there's any reason to be concerned with the hand dexterity. I'm sure it will be adequate for what's going to happen next. Maybe it'll even be amazing. Number 7, an AI chip leap and compute surge. Tesla's AI5 will be 10 to 40 times better than AI4. It'll be US made by Samsung and TSMC. It will be extremely efficient. All the pundits have been talking about that. GPU, this is like it will be a GPU. It doesn't have a GPU, and it positions Tesla ahead in real world AI versus generalists on the other side of the coin. Number 8, the production ramp to 3 million units signals confidence. Musk's vow to expand as fast as we can post FSD clarity thrilled the bulls, targeting 3 million annualized in 24 months. But I think that he also is saying he will be building another factory. If we can't get more than 3 million out of the 4 factories that we have now, they will be building another factory. Will that be in Austin? Will that be the second factory in Berlin? Will that be Mexico? Or will it be something that hasn't been exposed at all yet? Don't know, but they're going to need more factories. Number 9, margin pressures from tariffs and mix, but long-term bullish. Fast money traders split on the stock's 4% dip, citing China-EU competition, 400 million tariff hit. That was one of the things. Yet optimists like Tom Nash predicted $900 a share in 12 months. Oh, I just said $1,000 in 12 months. Well, or 15 months, 14 months, with community focused on service margins at 10.5%, all-time high. It's excellent, excellent, excellent that the service numbers are now at 10%, which is kind of what Elon's been aiming for. And then the comp package, Elon at the end talking about he needs to have, around in the mid-20s to feel good. All right. Jeff Lutz says, Signal, first generation production lines for Optimus are being installed now in anticipation of volume production. And we saw all those people being hired. He says this means V3, version 3 of Optimus achieve performance levels adequate for building out mass production solution. And we'll see more versions coming up. Chuck Cook says, the biggest thing I've heard Elon Musk say in the earnings call was the multiple comments about the upcoming versions of version 14 employing reasoning. And we had not yet increased the number of parameters yet. So what they're driving around now doesn't have the total parameters that they were talking about. And it will be employing reasoning by 14.3 or 4. Anyway, yeah, and then hardware 3 will probably get a distilled version 14 Lite in quarter 2. This is very exciting. Reasoning has immense potential, he says, to solve many issues just by being able to rapidly compare potential solutions before execution. Something I was talking about all last week is this is one of the major things that we learned as we were doing the book is one of the keys to anything that you're doing with regard to AI is that it can see more paths than you, okay? You can see, maybe you see 3 directions for getting across the creek. I know I use that analogy all the time, but it'll see the 4th one that's downstream. Al-Swami has, he highlighted that squeezing reasoning into AI4 was a hard road and not to be taken lightly. The additional parameters that we will eventually get on AI4 will bring additional context and possibly many other outcomes that we won't expect. Fun times ahead. Dan Ives says, overall for Teslas was another step in the right direction as robotaxis should be deployed in 8 to 10 cities by year end. The demand looks stable. China's looking excellent so far. And now the focus is on autonomy and robotics. We believe that this is an AI-driven story for 2026. He still has his price target for next year at 600. This is from Nick Cruz Patain. He says Elon Musk says Tesla will be adding reasoning, probably by the end of the year, with reasoning is literally going to think about which parking spot to pick. It'll drop you off at the entrance to the store, then go find its own parking spot. And it'll tell you that. It'll say, you know what? Why don't I just let you off? It's going to spot empty spots much better than a human. And by the way, just breaking in this half of the show, Rivian is laying off 600 workers, 4% of the workforce. That is a big headline right now. But you know what? At 4% of the workforce, that's just normal year-end house cleaning. I wouldn't put a lot into that. This is Randy Kirk. Hit the like and subscribe and all that stuff, but buy the book. The main thing is buy the book. Please spend 2 nights. Don't read it. I don't care. Okay, read chapter 3. If you can read chapter 3 and not keep reading, then I will know that we've done something wrong. I don't think you'll be able to read. I don't think you'll be able to stop reading if you read chapter 3. And that, of course, that's my chapter, one of my chapters. Anyway, buy the book, $2.99, won't kill you. IBM reported after the close on October 22nd, beating estimates on revenue. But so they had strong demand for their AI and hybrid cloud, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the shares fell about 7% on concerns over slower cloud software growth. The Las Vegas Sands beat and said they're doing really great in Asia, and the leisure travel boom in Asia. And so they're very, very happy. Their shares were up 5%. Southwest Airlines, their results were kind of mixed, but they're saying the consumer's doing fine, and they're seeing leisure travel rebounding with capacity up 0.8% year over year, loyalty program revenues growing. Honeywell extended their forecasts, their revenue forecast for next year. Everything was great. They beat year over year, raised full year 25 adjusted EPS guidance. I think their shares went up 4%. Hasbro said the digital side of their business is increasing. They gave an example of what was their example? Anyway, their regular toys are Monopoly. So Monopoly Go is now taking over for the actual board game. Board game sales are going down, but their digital versions are going up. Overall revenue up 7%, on track for 250 to 300 million in cost savings. Anyway, a good report from those guys. These reports highlight resilient consumer spending. I know the word resilient in travel and gaming, but a little bit of caution still there in discretionary goods. And I think that's right. Tom Lee last night did a show where he was talking about the fact that the ISM for manufacturing has been below 50 for, I don't know, 17 quarters. I can't remember the exact number of quarters, but he said that's a good thing. That shows that we're in the beginning stages of a bull market, not the mid stages. Zillow reported that home buyers and sellers were unseasonably active. Who said that? I don't know who said that we're going to have more activity this winter than normal. I don't know. Becoming strong again after a weak August. The number of buyers markets more than doubled, rising from 6 to 15 over the past year. New listings from sellers rose 3% annually, are emerging from a 3% annual decline in August. Buyers have 14% more options to choose from. A September dip in mortgage rates paired with a stock market bump gave a boost to what is traditionally the start of the slow season. And then the National Association of Realtors confirmed Zillow this morning with existing home sales rising 1.5 in September. Month over month sales increased in the Northeast, South, and West, but they fell in the Midwest. Year over year sales rose in the Northeast, Midwest, and South, but remained flat in the West. So that's a really good report. According to NAR Chief Economist Lawrence Yun, as anticipated, falling mortgage rates are lifting home sales. Improving housing affordability is also contributing to the increase in sales. Inventory is matching a 5-year high, though it remains below pre-COVID levels. And believe me, I was helping with a lot of real estate clients in those times, and those inventories were super low and were lower than that. Many homeowners are financially comfortable, resulting in very few distressed properties and forced sales. Home prices continue to rise in most parts of the country, further contributing to overall household wealth. The President of the United States is sitting at 48% this morning, and true inflation is pretty much unchanged from yesterday. The overnight is at 2.26. Goods are at 2.36. Core is at 2.15. Services are 2.19. And the PCE is at 2.38. So whatever they say tomorrow, remember what Truflation is saying. Now, they'll probably make some adjustments a week from whenever that is, the first, I think, is Saturday, something like that. Anyway, but these are really, really strong. I doubt if they're going to adjust that much. So Tesla is still sitting just a little bit down from what I said a minute ago. They're 422.46. I'm very happy with that result, given the earnings themselves. The call, I think, was solid. It wasn't like exciting like last year's third quarter or second quarter. I forget which one it was. But so we're down 3.67 from yesterday. 500 is totally in range for the end of the month or for right after the stockholders meeting. All right, the Dow Jones is down 0.03. The NASDAQ is up 0.55. S&P is up 0.31. That's a pretty good deal. I think the S&P, yeah, we're less than half a percent away from all-time highs there. Magnificent Seven are all up this morning. The VIX is down back to 18.62, indicating risk back on again today. Not as high as not as low as we've seen it, but the risk is definitely better than it was yesterday when it was over 20. And then we've got the Cathie Woods are all positive except for CRISPR, which is down a little bit. And I don't follow these at all on a daily basis. I just look at the aggregate. So please don't ask me how is TDOC doing? I don't know. All right, let's go on to the bonds. We have got, okay, come on now. My computer is giving me a headache right now. Surely it's not going to be completely screwed up here to where I can't even use it. Oh my goodness. Gonna have to put you guys on pause for a second. I must have been pushing something the wrong way, pushing too hard or something. It was my fault. All right, here we go. We have got the 10-year is up this morning, 2.9%, but still under 4% at 3.98. I didn't get a chance to check the mortgages this morning. The last time I looked, they were at around 4.15, about 4.15. Should be under, I'm sorry, 5.15, should be under 5 shortly. But again, FHA and VA are already under 5. We've got oil this morning up $3 a barrel. Now that is a combination of, I did look it up, and we are refilling. We're going to buy 1 million barrels, I think, to refill the strategic reserve, as well as the whole thing with Russia and the sanctions. So up $3, 5.25%. Natural gas down actually 1.25 at $3.40, which is still very high for natural gas. We've got gold up $95, so back up to 4,162. Long way to go to 4,400. I'm getting a little nervous about whether we're going back to 3,400, but I'm very happy to have been right about 4,400 being a top. Okay, silver up 2.48 this morning. It's a little bit more than gold. And copper up 1.85, back over $5 to $5.09. We've got the dollar down a little bit this morning after being up for 4 days in a row. And we have got Bitcoin also back up 1650 to 109.7. And there you go. That's what's happening with the overall situation. And what do we got coming up later today? We have got regular day. You will have Bradford Ferguson at around 5-ish or maybe earlier. And then we've got Cern Basher. Yeah, Cern, go Cern. He'll be on at 7 o'clock or so. Last night, okay. So you guys haven't gotten back into getting Jeff, Jeff Lutz is back. Jeff Lutz gives one of the most unique, and he and I together, you're not going to find what we talk about anywhere else. I'm a manufacturer. I don't know if you guys think about it. No, I had a real manufacturing company. I had 100 employees, 5.5 million in sales when 5.5 million was a lot of money. And that was only like 20 years ago. Anyway, I sold it in 2007. So, I know something about manufacturing. I was selling product on 4 continents. I was buying product from 3 continents, including China. We were super, super early into China. I know all of that stuff backwards, forwards, and inside out, and Jeff Lutz knows, and not as an owner, but as a C-suite guy, he knows this stuff also. In many, many cases, his level of understanding is like 100 times, 1,000 times what mine is. But I know how to ask him the right questions, and he gets it. He knows that I that I know. So if you didn't watch Jeff Lutz last night, you need to go back, and there's the card. You need to go back and watch that. That's taking nothing away from Brian Wang and his what we talked about last night. But we already had like 8,000 people see that one, so I think there's a good chance you already saw that. But you missed the Jeff Lutz is only around 4,000, 4,500. So that's the one you really, really want to go back and check that out. Okay, I think that's everything I want to tell you today. Oh yeah, let's see. There was this one other thing. Oh, buy the book. Yeah, stop by bottle openers right now, although that'll be coming up. The link is down in the information below. You can go get the link, go on Amazon. If you want to buy the Kindle, now I get it. If you're waiting to buy the paperback or the hardback or get the Audible, but if Kindle is what you do, then please go down, get the link, buy the book. We need to keep at least 100 a day while we're waiting for those other versions to come out. All right. It's been great talking to you.